Welcome to the deep dive. So today we're digging into something maybe a little unexpected. Not the usual reports or data.
Right. We've got lyrics,
Mhm.
specifically from a song called Sandcastles by Alison McLean.
Exactly. And we're using these lyrics really as a lens to look at this whole obsession we seem to have with, making things last forever, with permanence,
Mm-hmm.
and also that fear that maybe our efforts are just fleeting. This dive is really for you if you've ever poured yourself into a project, knowing deep down it wouldn't or couldn't last.
Yeah, and wondered, was that worth it? It's kind of a philosophical shortcut, these lyrics.
Yeah, so
Well, they force you to confront this really unavoidable question about human ambition, about effort.
what do you
If
think?
everything we build, our biggest projects or, strongest commitments, if they're all ultimately temporary, then what's the point? What's the actual value in building them in the first place?
Hmm.
It pushes us away from thinking about legacy, maybe, and more towards experience, the now.
Okay, let's unpack this. Starting with the basics. What exactly is the sandcastle in this song? What does it stand for?
Well, the first verse just lays it right out there. No ambiguity.
Right. The opening lines they're pretty stark. McLean's lyrics say the sandcastle is our dreams, our desires, our ambitions.
Yeah, all those big things we strive for.
But then immediately she describes them as being in a fleeting form. They're made of sand. Like literally, you can't get much more temporary than that.
And what's fascinating here is there's no preamble. It just states it as fact right up front. These huge parts of our lives, our goals, they're fragile. They exist where all things change.
So that line, futility is born, it's not a conclusion reached at the end. It's more like the starting point.
Exactly. It's the premise. The song doesn't give you any room to pretend your big plans are carved in stone.
Okay.
It says, nope, they're sand. Deal with it.
So think about that for a moment. You listening, maybe you're launching a business or, I don't know, pouring energy into a new relationship or a creative project.
Mm.
You often go in hoping for some kind of permanence, right? A lasting impact.
Of course, that's usually the goal.
But these lyrics force you to see that the ground you're building on, market trends, people's feelings, your own enthusiasm even, it's already shifting. Like building on sand near the water's edge.
You're building where erosion is inevitable, and the lyrics accept that futility right away. This isn't about, building stronger walls against the tide.
Yeah.
No, it seems to be about knowing the tide is coming. So if your ambition is defined as fleeting from the start,
Then success has to mean something different than just lasting.
precisely, it shifts success away from preservation, maybe towards fulfillment in the moment. If that book you're writing or that community you're building is bound to change or dissolve, what makes the effort worthwhile now?
Okay, but if the first verse hits us with that, futility is born, it sounds a bit bleak. Why wouldn't we just stop building?
Ah, right. Good question. If destruction is guaranteed, why bother?
Yeah. Why build the sandcastle at all?
And that's where the hook, the chorus part, comes in with this really elegant paradox. It flips the whole thing.
How does it do that?
It basically says we build knowing it won't last, maybe even because we know. That key line. We build sandcastles knowing it all will be swept away for the joy it brings today.
For the joy it brings today.
Today, right now, in the act of building.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because that completely reverses how we usually think about ambition, doesn't it?
Oh, so?
We're taught to invest effort now for a payoff later,
Mhm.
a return on investment, something solid, something permanent.
Right, future yield.
But these lyrics seem to say the entire return is immediate. It's internal, emotional, the joy it brings today.
The value is the present experience, the process.
So the sandcastle structure itself, it's almost secondary. It's the vehicle for the joy, not the final destination.
I think that's the main thrust, yes. The intrinsic value of the act. But, does that mean any building brings joy? Like if you slap together a really miserable-looking sandcastle and hate doing it, does that still count?
Good point. Is it just doing it or how you do it?
The text says, the joy it brings. It implies maybe that the joy comes from the quality of the engagement, the care you put in now.
So it's not just busy work. It's about being present, intentional in the creation, like
Yep.
mindfully shaping the towers, digging the moat, even knowing the wave is coming.
Exactly. It's purposeful, joyful creation that reframes the effort. It's not an investment for the future, it's an expenditure for the present moment's richness.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But The song doesn't just stay there in that happy building place, does it? It acknowledges the difficulty.
Oh, definitely not. It gets into the messy part. The second verse tackles the psychological weight of knowing everything is temporary, dealing with those shifting sands.
Yeah, that part feels very real. The description of how we react. Overwhelmed, feeling trapped, varying things. I read that as, that moment you realize things are changing, the project isn't working out, the situation is ending.
And what do? We panic.
We feel trapped, maybe try to hide the evidence or desperately shore up the foundations, burying things so the tide can't get them.
It's that instinct to preserve, to fight the impermanence, even when the song's already told us it's futile. We get stuck trying to keep the sandcastle instead of just enjoying the building.
Like an artist who's so afraid the final piece won't be perfect or permanent that they stop enjoying the actual act of creating.
Precisely. They're burying the messy, temporary stages, trying to protect them from erosion, and they lose the joy today the hook talked about.
And the lyrics don't offer an easy way out of that physical reality either. Verse 3 is pretty blunt about the endgame.
Yeah, it's the inevitable scene, that solid structure we built. When the reality of impermanence hits, it's revealed to be nothing at all.
And it's not usually a sudden explosion, is it? The lyrics say the incoming tide erodes.
Slowly, surely. And the foundation falls. It's gradual, undeniable.
I think that word erodes is key. For anyone listening who's seen a big project, or maybe even a relationship, slowly unraveling, it wasn't one big bang. It was that slow, creeping erosion.
Right, little bits washing away over time.
And maybe there's some comfort in the song acknowledging that this erosion isn't necessarily a sign of your personal failure, but just the way things are, the nature of tides and sand.
It normalizes the process of dissolution, but it leaves us with a challenge, doesn't it? If feeling overwhelmed and trapped is the default reaction when the erosion starts.
Yeah. How do we actually get to that place the hook describes? The place of finding joy even knowing it ends. How do we handle the letting go part?
It's a big question. We know the joy is supposed to be in the process, but the pain often comes with the loss.
And I think it's exactly what the chorus tackles. It feels like the thesis statement, the actionable takeaway from the whole thing.
It seems to pull it all together.
Yeah. It explicitly defines where the real lasting value comes from, despite the temporary nature of the sandcastle itself.
What does it pinpoint?
Two things. Presented as basically inseparable. It says the value is in.
Yeah.
The value, the process of creation, and the art of letting go.
Ah, so it's a package deal.
You can't have one without the other, it seems. The creation part and then the letting go part.
The process of creation. That's the active participation, the building with joy we talked about.
Right.
But the art of letting go, that feels like the harder discipline, maybe the more profound one.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
How do you see that art of letting go playing out? Is it just detachment, like trying not to care?
I don't think it's indifference. Based on the emphasis on joy today, it feels more active, like acknowledging the structure served its purpose in that moment of creation.
Okay.
So letting go isn't shrugging your shoulders, it's appreciating the experience you had, the skills you gained while building, and then allowing it to pass when its time is up, releasing your grip on the form.
So if you spend years on something and it doesn't become the permanent monument you hope for?
Letting go means celebrating the process, the journey, the joy today you hopefully experienced along the way, rather than mourning the final structure that washed away.
That makes the creation and the destruction almost symbiotic partners.
Yeah, in a way. The tide coming in isn't failure, it's just clearing the space. It means the sandcastle fulfilled its purpose, which was to be built and enjoyed in that moment.
Enjoy as we go.
Exactly. And when the tide comes or the joy fades, its job is done.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, what's the overall message here about dealing with impermanence?
I think the lyrics are telling us that mastery isn't about preventing change or loss. It's about embracing the full cycle. Build with passion and presence, enjoy it deeply while it's happening, and then learn the art of releasing it completely when it's time.
And avoiding that cycle, like refusing to build because you fear the loss.
Yeah.
That's the only real way to miss out.
That seems to be it. You miss the joy today if you don't participate.
Okay, so let's try to wrap this up for the listener. The core idea seems to be, yes, our big dreams, our projects, our ambitions, they are like sandcastles, fleeting.
That's the given.
But the value, the thing that does endure, isn't in making them permanent. It's found entirely in how we build them, the quality of that creative process, and in our ability to accept, even welcome, the next wave.
To master the art of letting go.
Right. The letting go isn't an unfortunate side effect. It's half the value proposition.
Which leads to maybe one final thought stemming from that tension. If the real goal is mastering that art of letting go, and the value is truly in the present moment joy of creation,
Yeah.
does the scale of the sandcastle actually matter? You know, how big or complex or ambitious it is? Or is the simple act of building anything with intention, finding joy in it, and then letting it go? Is that the whole point?
Is the simple act enough?
Does striving for a bigger, more intricate sandcastle distract from the core value or enhance it? The lyrics seem focused on the choice to build and the joy today.
So what does this all mean for your next ambitious project? Are you focusing on building something massive and permanent, or on building something with intentional joy ready for the tide?
Something to think about.
Definitely. That's our deep dive for today. We'll catch you on the next one.